At the end of the Seder Mishpatim, Rashi explains on the fourth day of Sivan, Kadosh Baruch Hu turned to Moshe Rabbeinu ve'el Moshe Amar, saying to him, Alei el Adonai, that he was to ascend to the top of the mountain of Har Sinai. Ato v'Aharon Nadav v'Avihu. He, Aharon, Nadav and Avihu, the two older sons of Aaron the Kohen Gadol, the Shivim Mizikna Yisrael, and the 70 elders of Israel, Vishtachavise merachok, and they were to prostrate themselves from a distance. We know from the repetition of the Baal Musaf on Yom Kippurim that when indeed the Shem Hashem Meforash Yosemipi, when the name of HaKadosh Baruch Hu explicitly would be uttered from the mouth of the Kohen Gadol, then Hoyu Kola HaKohanim V'Kola Am, everyone who was to be found in the Azara would prostrate themselves, exclaiming Baruch Shem Kavod Malchus L'Yolam V'Ed. But why does the pasuk, understandably instructing them to prostrate themselves, given the fact that they would hear the Shem Hashem at the mountain of Sinai, but why would they need bow down from afar, Meirachok? Reb Velvel Soloveitchik explains that given the fact that everyone was assigned a particular spot, if they were to actually prostrate themselves at the spot that they were assigned, they would literally be moving forward beyond the place that they were supposed to be found, and therefore they had to back up and bow down Meirachok from afar. But I think that the Psukim are telling us another interesting truth in life, and that is there are times during the course of our lifetimes when we don't feel ourselves standing at Har Sinai, when we don't feel ourselves standing in the presence of Hashem Yisbarach. And for whatever reason, given what we are going through and what we are experiencing, we feel somewhat distant, so very far from Hashem Yisbarach. And the Psukim are telling us, alluding to the fact that there was a time when Avram Avinu was instructed to take his beloved son Yitzchak and effectively sacrifice him, ha'aleu, bring him up to the har, and he understood that he was presumably to sacrifice him. And he would be sacrificing and saying goodbye to his entire lifetime of achievement, to any continuity that he wished for, to the wonderful son and heritage that he was promised by Hashem Yisbarach. And yet he went, and in those hours of grave concern and bewilderment, when he felt so confounded by HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and very likely feeling so far from Hashem Yisbarach, by Yom HaShlishi, on the third day of that trek, Vayisa Avram es Einov, Avraham raised his eyes, Vayaris HaMakom, and he saw the place, Meirachok, from afar. And indeed, he continued on his journey, and at that place was willing to sacrifice Yitzchak, was told not to do so. And that place became the site of no less than the Beis HaMikdash itself, no less than the site toward which HaKadosh Baruch Hu always turns his eyes, as it were, on Yom Kippurim, to see the ashes of Yitzchak before him, in order to have Rachmanis, compassion and mercy upon those who issued forth from him, the nation of Israel, and to forgive us. So Kadosh Baruch Hu instructs Moshe Rabbeinu, experience this moment, you and Aharon, Nadav and Avihu, and the Shivim Zakenim, and all of Klal Yisrael, Vishtachavisa, and know that you are always to understand that no matter how close or no matter how far you feel from me, from Hashem Yisbarach, Vishtachavisa, you could always bow down and prostrate yourselves and feel near me, even when it is Meirachok. Have a wonderful Shabbos.